and welcome again to another edition of What to Watch with Antony. This week, we're bringing you cinema nonfiction, also known as documentary-style movies. Antony has chosen 5 of some of his favorites, and take it away, Antony. Tell us a little bit about your first choice.
So my first pick is a 2018 film called Free Solo.
I've always been conflicted about shooting a film about free soloing just because it's so dangerous. It's hard to not imagine your friend falling through the frame to his death.
I think when he's free soloing, that's when he feels the most alive, most everything. How can you even think about taking it away from somebody?
No mistakes tomorrow.
Starting to get kind of psyched.
If you're pushing the edge, eventually you find the edge.
I can't believe you guys actually can watch. Hey, Jimmy, do you copy? Just started climbing.
And it documents the life of athlete Alex Honnold and how he trained and prepared to climb the El Capitan. This was a really gripping and riveting documentary. Not only do you get to see Alex's training process, but you get to see the perspective of the people around him in his life, his family and friends who are having to deal with, all the things that go with this. What happens if there's a worst case scenario? Because what he was doing was climbing El Capitan without any harnesses or rope. It was a free climb. And then you also get an intriguing look into the filmmakers because, of course, they have to climb with Alex. They, of course, on harnesses. But, they're questioning the ethics of making a film like this. What happens if something goes wrong? Were they responsible for it? It's a really gripping documentary that I think no matter how big of a screen you're watching on it, you'll still be riveted throughout. If you have a Disney Plus subscription, you can watch it there. If not, I'm sure you can find it to rent or purchase anywhere movies digitally are sold. So check it out, Free Solo.
Great, great. And our second movie on your list?
Second film on the list is a film called Bombshell.
She was the best looking woman that ever lived. I don't know whether it's true, but you hear things.
She is this perfect underdog crime fighter by night story.
She was such a big star. She seemed so untouchable.
She was so ahead of her time.
She said more than once, "My beauty is my curse." And by that she meant people never got past her face.
There are stories almost like a prison escape.
She created her own reality, and I find that really fascinating.
She did have a secret.
Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, that's her technology.
You think, how could this be possible?
If I wanted to be harsh, I would say she was a plagiarizer.
You don't get to be Hedy Lamarr and smart.
I know what I did. There comes a point when you can't take any more, then you have to make yourself heard.
Hedy Lamarr was actually a movie that we showcased at the the Cherry Hill Volvo Jewish Film Festival a couple of years back. It was very popular, but in case you hadn't seen it, and even if you had seen it, it traces the story of Hedy Lamarr, who was a movie actress in Europe before she even came to the United States and worked in Hollywood. And she had a rather scandalous beginning, which put her on the map, and she got the attention of people like Howard Hughes and Orson Welles and all kinds of very powerful people in Hollywood. She became an actress, but she was a tinkerer since she was a child, and was a scientist in her own right. And this movie documents how she essentially invented Wi-Fi, which is fascinating. She's making out with Cary Grant in the daytime and then going home and inventing Wi-Fi at night. Howard Hughes made scientists available to her, so people had noticed that she had quite a gift. And this movie beautifully documents it in black and white, her trajectory into Hollywood as well as into the world of science.
So my third choice today is a film called Amy.
The thing is, I don't think I'm going to be
I told Fatima. I'm not a girl trying to be a star. I'm just a girl that sings.
This documents the life of Amy Winehouse, who is, her music is so incredible, but also her story is quite tragic, and you get to see how she rose in the industry from a little kid, and then her relationships with her family and her father especially, and then turning into the artist we all know who wrote songs like Rehab and Valerie and stuff like that. Then you get to learn about her experiences later in her life when just so much was overtaking her, and then which led to her tragic death at the age of 27. This film is probably the most depressing out of all the films on the list. It's definitely a tough watch to sit through, but it's still a really great documentary. It came out in 2015, and again, it highlights how tragic Amy Winehouse's life was.
Yeah.
All right, my fourth pick is a film called Honeyland. This broke ground when it came to the industry, being, I believe, the first non-English speaking film or foreign language film to be nominated in the Best International Feature category and Best Documentary Feature category at this past year's Oscars. It was an incredible film, and because I know Suzanne is a big fan of it, I will let you speak on it.
Okay, so Honeyland is a beautiful movie that is shot in North Macedonia, following the life, or a certain part of the life, of this woman who was a natural wild beekeeper. So she went into the wilderness to find beehives, and it takes place as she is taking care of her mother, and at the same time that these neighbors kind of move into the area of where she's living and taking care of these bees, and the impact that these people had on her life and her peace, and on the beehives themselves. It's beautifully shot. It was supposed to be a short film that then turned into a 3-year-long shot, and which made it a feature-length movie, and it's just beautiful to see the humility and the kindness and the wisdom coming out of this one woman who took care of these bees. It's just a beautiful, beautiful movie to watch. But there are some disturbing aspects because of the neighbors who move in. So it's not just this kind of frolic through the park kind of documentary. I will warn you of that, but it is an important story and something quite different.
My last pick is a film that is personally my favorite documentary that I've ever seen. I remember seeing it in the summer of 2018 when it came out, and just being amazed with how this film told this amazing story, a story that I couldn't honestly believe was true. This film is called Three Identical Strangers.
When people ask me what is the most remarkable story you ever encountered, I tell them it's the story of the triplets.
You guys have been on the front page of every newspaper in the world.
True. They were more like clones than they were like brothers.
It was a miracle.
There was nothing that could keep us apart.
That's when things kind of got funky.
Something was just not right.
They separated these boys at birth. The parents had never been told that there were 2 other children. What was the purpose?
Why? How could you not tell us?
They're trying to conceal what they did from the people they did it to.
When you play with humans, you do something very wrong.
Who would be evil enough to come up with something like this?
There's a lot of powerful people that would like to have this story silenced.
There's still so much that we don't know.
It boggles the mind.
It's a mystery. I'd like to know the truth.
And documents the story about 3 individuals who at the age of 19 find out that they are triplets. And together they meet up really for the first time in their lives, and they've all had different families.
They were adopted by different families.
They were adopted by different families, and all of them met together. And you're just amazed at just how wonderful it was that this family got together. But then there's about an hour and a half left of the film when you reach that point, and you realize that the story of why they were separated and what really happened to them and the effect that this separation had on all of them. This is an incredible story, and honestly, don't read anything about it, don't look up anything. You want to watch this film and be amazed of this story and be so heartbroken at times. I mean, this is it's a sad story, but yet it's inspiring. It's a beautiful, beautiful documentary that also allows the creative team the ability to really test the boundaries of what you can do in a documentary. They're able to inject such creative license into the film that it gives it such a fresh quality. So I guarantee you, if you haven't seen 3 Identical Strangers, or even if you have before, check it out. It's a masterful film, and you will not be disappointed. So that about sums it up this week. Those are 5 documentaries for you to watch. Let us know if you end up watching any of these and if you enjoy them, or if you've watched any films or shows from past episodes that you enjoyed. Let us know if you want us to look at any specific films in the future, and we hope you all are safe and doing well. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.